You've heard of John TV. Now, not too far away, maybe DUI TV. Good evening, I'm Elizabeth Alex. Usually a dozen or so faces show up on John TV every Wednesday. One week, nearly 50 people were featured for their arrests. Now, a city councilwoman wants to expand the program to include drunk drivers. New tonight, is it law or punishment? NBC 41 News reporter Melissa Cutler is live in our newsroom. Melissa.
Well, Elizabeth, in this country, you're innocent until proven guilty. Or are you? Are you willing to lose your rights in favor of deterring crime? That's what some say will happen if Drunk TV passes the city council. First, there was John TV, men and women arrested for soliciting a prostitute. Then mugs plastered across Kansas City's public access channel. Since then, a proposed slumlord TV. Now, Drunk TV. Every day, showing men and women arrested on a DUI.
These people will in fact be punished by having their pictures on television and being ridiculed without being convicted of a crime, and that, I think, is un-American.
It's one thing for the media to make arrests public. That's the First Amendment. But when the government does it, the ACLU says the entity that's supposed to protect our constitutional rights are actually violating them. John TV, and maybe now DUI TV, is championed by City Councilwoman Teresa Lohr, who said in the past John TV has worked. Big drops in John arrests, drops in some local crimes, drops in DUIs may follow. Opponents argue the ordinance is against the law because there's no due process.
We don't punish people without affording them a chance to tell their side of the story, to have their story judged by an impartial judge or jury, and being convicted or not.
Councilwoman Lohr was unable to be reached despite repeated attempts by 41 News to contact her. Now, the ACLU says its goal is to get the ordinance changed and not to ask for punitive monetary damages against the city if a legal suit is ever filed. Elizabeth.
We'll keep watching it. Thank you, Melissa Cutler. New tonight, Kansas City police investigate a mysterious car crash. A man is in critical condition after crashing his car into this telephone pole. He had also been shot. Police say he was shot and then wrecked. When masked workers arrived, they pulled the driver from the car, then found he had a bullet wound in the chest. Tonight, friends remember a family murdered by fire and begging for the community to help.
I didn't intend for us to die this way.
Sharon Saunders and her two sons died in a house fire last week. Family and friends held a prayer and candlelight vigil at the site of the deadly fire. Investigators say it was arson. The ad hoc group against crime is offering $1,000 to anyone with information. Funeral services for the family will be held this Friday. The local latest now on a dog killing that has touched hearts and tortured imaginations across the metro. The fourth man wanted for killing Scruffy the dog remains on the loose tonight. Jose Gutierrez has not yet been caught. 3 others are in police custody in KCK. They're accused of killing Scruffy in some sort of cruel videotaped game. If you know where Gutierrez is, please call the TIPS hotline. Well, this shocking story of videotaped dog torture continues to get attention across the country, across the ocean. Take a look at some of the email we've been getting. From Sheila in Hawaii. People this cruel and ignorant have no place in any society other than the prison community. Robert Woodson from San Francisco writes, a very sad commentary on our society, typical example of how brutal our young people can become. Leanne Carruthers from Iowa says lawmakers everywhere must be urged to make stronger legislation and see that it is enforced against animal abuse. Well, thank you for your thoughts. You can email us anytime by going to our website at kshb.com, then just click on feedback. Well, reports of a mountain lion on the loose are causing an uproar near Blue Springs. The local latest now, Tom Moorland and his wife have found numerous large animal tracks on their property. Several of their cats and chickens have been killed. The Moorlands say the tracks belong to a mountain lion that has made his home in the area, but the Missouri Department of Conservation says it's not likely that a big cat like this one at the Kansas City Zoo is on the loose.
There would not be any suitable habitat for this cat. And I don't know why they think that, but it, you know, there's a lot of brushy country, a lot of places to hide, and plenty of things to eat.
Well, mountain lions are native to the Midwest, but they haven't been spotted in this area for many years. New information tonight about a murder mystery unfolding near a Colorado Army base with ties to Overland Park. The victim, a 20-year-old private. NBC 41 News reporter Keith King first brought us this story last month, and tonight here's Keith with an update for the search on the killer. Keith?
Elizabeth, Colorado Springs homicide detectives tell me that they have interviewed between 30 and 40 different people, including those who were last to see Jason Chafin alive. That was over 5 months ago.
Jason Chafin, a clean-cut, well-liked young man with many interests, ranging from art to the outdoors. Many questions surrounding Chafin's death continue to puzzle the Army and police and frustrate his family. They talked with us last month just before Jason's funeral.
He didn't deserve this. You know, he's been taken out of our lives, and I miss him.
Chafin lived on base at Fort Carson, Colorado. Police say the day before Chafin vanished, he spent time with friends in nearby Colorado Springs, then returned to the base for a small party in one of the barracks. That was the last time anyone saw Chafin alive. On December 26th, 2 hunters discovered a decomposed body. 2 weeks later, investigators determined the body was Chafin. Police now sift through evidence, hoping that it'll lead to a break.
We have shipped out a large amount of evidence to different forensic labs to be processed forensically, which would give us some type of information such as blood evidence, fiber evidence, or hair evidence that we may be able to use in the case.
Investigators also pieced together the days leading up to Chafin's disappearance. What did he do? Who did he talk to? A challenging task since he disappeared 5 months ago.
This event certainly is more difficult due to the time lapse that we have.
And tonight there are more questions than answers surrounding Jason Chafin's death. One question I asked, do police have any suspects? The answer, no comment. Elizabeth?
Let's hope this mystery will soon be solved. Thank you very much, Keith King. Well, the local latest now on a strange sexual harassment story 41 News broke last month. 3 Shawnee Mission police officers are suing, saying their male supervisor sexually harassed them. Now they're getting unsolicited support from followers of a flamboyant anti-gay activist. Reverend Fred Phelps supporters showed up to picket in favor of the officers at the police station in Shawnee and at City Hall. A horrible accident in Taiwan sends shockwaves across the world. A China Airlines Airbus trying to land in fog crashed in Taipei. The jet ripped through a residential neighborhood, killing everyone on board and 9 people on the ground. The director of Taiwan's Civil Air Administration has resigned, taking responsibility for the crash. The White House prepares us for a possible military strike against Iraq. Across America, the Pentagon sent more troops to the Middle East, ordering 3,000 there from Fort Stewart today. Members of the 93rd Air Control Wing at Robbins Air Force Base left for the region this morning. The troops will be stationed in Kuwait to help defend against a possible counterattack by Iraq should tensions overflow. Across America, more attacks on Special Prosecutor Kenneth Starr tonight. Monica Lewinsky's lawyer says Starr's behavior is prosecutorial misconduct. As an example, he mentions Monica's mother, Marcia Lewis, leaving the grand jury distraught, unable to continue after 2 days of grilling about her daughter's sex life and whether she encouraged Monica and others to lie to protect the president.
I said it's abusive, and I continue to believe it's abusive. I think it's stepped over bounds.
Starr has repeatedly claimed he's only trying to get at the truth, that Lewinsky had an affair with Clinton and that he asked her to lie about it. The president denies the allegations. Have you ever wondered what people will say at your funeral? A Maryland man knows because he was there. Across America, Alan Marks has an aggressive form of cancer. Doctors give him just weeks to live. Mark spent 1 day of that time at his own living memorial service with 400 of his friends.
It was both the chance to greet and say goodbye, and that's a hard thing to describe, but it led to a lot of hugging.
Well, Marks plans to spend the rest of his life with his wife and immediate family. He says the service reflects how he's enjoyed life and the people with whom he's shared it. A small tax break could come for those of you who live in Wyandotte County at the expense of those of you who work there. A Kansas Senate committee is considering a local earnings tax bill. Under it, Wyandotte County could tax the earnings of people who work there. Now, voters would have to approve the tax. Property taxes would be cut by the same amount. Well, everyone who flies out of KCI knows those parking nightmares at Terminal C. The trouble could finally come to an end tomorrow. The local latest, after 2 years of construction, a $24 million parking garage opens, and it's 3 months ahead of schedule. With more than 2,200 parking spaces, the garage is a welcome sight for passengers.
It was very inconvenient. You had to park across the street and then catch a shuttle over, so we're really happy it's open.
This is getting real good. It's looking like a real airport.
All 3 terminals now have new parking lots with modern parking garages. Well, remember baby Carly? She's the infant kidnapped from KU Med Center when she was just a few hours old. The local latest tonight, Carly received special attention today because of her ordeal. KUDL Radio threw her a baby shower. Carly's mom, grandfather, and sister were on hand to help unwrap presents donated by the station's listeners and staff. Well, a heartwarming story in the spotlight tonight. Here's Tom Lawrence with a preview. Hello.
Hi, Elizabeth. This little heart can help other people's lives. Coming up, we'll tell you how you can get one and how also about a big Academy Award party you can go to. It's all tied together. It's all in the spotlight. Coming up in just a bit.
We'll see in a few minutes. Well, the sun has once again taken a vacation. Let's see for how long. Here's Chief Meteorologist Lori Miller in the 41 Forecast Center. Lori.
Well, Elizabeth, the rain started last night at about 7 o'clock, and it didn't stop much all day today. If you're driving tonight, driving could be a bit hazardous due to poor driving visibility from drizzle and fog. Temperatures are not going to drop much tonight, 38 degrees by tomorrow morning. Well, this is what the storm system looked like as it made its way across the area today. It started out actually over southeastern Missouri, moving to the northwest, bringing in the light rain into our area. As you can tell, it's now beginning to push north out of Missouri, and our rain is finally coming to an end. So coming up in just a few minutes, we'll have an El Nino update, and we'll see how long this rain is going to last. Elizabeth?
Been pretty gloomy around here, Lori.
Yes, it has.
Thank you. Months after the tragic car crash, Diana's dresses returned to help her causes, and that's good news tonight. A Florida businesswoman who bought 14 dresses before Diana's death is sending them around the world. Her goal, to raise $100 million. All of the money goes to Diana's charities, Children, AIDS, and Landmines. The world tour opened in Atlanta today. Spring training is underway for most pro ball clubs. Cordell Patrick has more with a sports shot. Hi.
Hey, Elizabeth. It was day number 2 for the Kansas City Royals in their spring training camp in Baseball City, Florida. The Royals opened up camp yesterday for pitchers and catchers. The rest of the team will report later in the week. Tony La Russa welcomed his St. Louis Cardinals to camp today, and they are located in Jupiter, Florida. Of course, the topic of discussion centered on slugger Mark McGwire and his chase of Roger Maris's home run mark. McGwire cranked out 58 last season, missing the record of 61 by just 3 home runs. Elizabeth, coming up in sports, an update on Harry Carey, and the KU Jayhawks can tie for the Big 12 Conference Championship by beating Colorado. I have highlights for you later in sports.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, Cordell. Are you in need of a little investment advice? Well, you can get it free in our website of the week. We explain coming up next. Later, making your fast food even faster. You're watching NBC 41 News Nightcast.
You're watching KSHB TV Kansas City. This is NBC 41 News Nightcast.
In tonight's Spotlight, we're taking a look at a shiny piece of jewelry that's changing children's lives for the better. The Answer Network organization in tonight's Spotlight is the Variety Club. NBC 41 News reporter Cynthia Gunn has the story.
The heart is the symbol of love, and Kansas Cityans are proving they have hearts of gold when it comes to loving and caring for children.
How are you doing today, sir? All right. All right. Would you like to support the Variety Club in our area by purchasing a heart for $2 to help kids in the area?
The customer says yes, and on goes the Heart of Gold, a sign of support for the Variety Club of the Kansas City Metro. Every heart helps the Variety Club fund organizations like Don Bosco and the Ronald McDonald House.
To help provide playground equipment, painting the shelter homes, helping with their transportation needs, such as our Sunshine Coach van program that we have with Ford.
You can buy the $2 hearts at Blockbuster video stores, Hy-Vee stores, and any AMC or Dickinson movie theaters.
This is our first year, and of course, Blockbuster is a family-oriented business, and of course we all have families, and we want to give back to the community, and this is one of the avenues. Variety Club is one of the avenues in which we can.
The Variety Club is also hosting the annual Oscar Night America at the Midland Theater. The fundraiser is on March 23rd at the Midland Theater. Actor Jamie Farr will make a guest appearance. For tickets, you can call 341-2315. For the Answer Network, Cynthia Gunn, NBC 41 News.
And we'll show you that phone number again in just a minute. The Variety Club is one of 350 community organizations listed in our Family Resource Directory. You can pick up a copy at any BuzzPrint or right here at NBC 41. It's free. Our website of the week is perfect if you'd like to make more money. And who doesn't that cover? It's the Mutual Fund Investors Center. It has a lot of content, whether you're an old-handed investing or just a wannabe beginner. In addition to listing the top 30 funds and the lowest cost funds, you can also get the basics of mutual fund investing, the 5 key principles of investing, and advice for the beginning investor. And it has information on more than 9,000 mutual funds. The page, by the way, belongs to a Kansas City organization, the Mutual Fund Education Alliance, and you can get there through our site, which of course is KSHB.com, and click on Local News. Heart disease kills more women than breast cancer, but there's a study underway that may help change that. Here's Brent Harden with a preview of a story we're working on for tomorrow.
Thanks, Tom. Scientists are studying 3,000 women across the U.S., older women with heart disease, to see if the hormones estrogen and progestin will help protect women's hearts. That's tomorrow on NBC 41 News at 6:30. Tom?
Back to gray and rainy after a beautiful Valentine's Day. Chief Meteorologist Lori Miller has the forecast first up next. Also ahead, it's more gloom and possible doom in California. We'll show it to you. But first now, here's that number for tickets to Oscar Night America.
NBC 41 weather is brought to you by your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
Well, California is getting a short-lived break from the rain. It gave people in Rio Negro enough time to go back into their homes to get some of their things. Officials are now worried that a mountainside along the Russian River will collapse, and unfortunately, another series of El Nino storms will hit later this week. Well, the first of those storms now making its way into southern and central California. That's bringing some very heavy rains to those folks there. Not too bad across northern California. But look what's behind this system. They'll get a break from that. Here's the west coast right here. They'll get a break from this storm, and then there's another one now developing out along the west coast, out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. That's moving very quickly, and will move on shore in the next couple of days. Well, where's our rain? Checking in with live digital Doppler radar, you'll see, boy, there's just not too much going on out there right now. So where is the rain? Well, let's look at next red Doppler radar. There it goes into southern Iowa and southeastern Nebraska, moving to the northwest away from us, but there is still some rain now down to our south. That's pushing to the north, so we're going to keep that rain in the forecast. Well, today we had about 1/3 of an inch already. We're 1/2 of an inch ahead for the month and 1/3 of an inch ahead for the year. So far this season, about 14 inches of snow. There's the low. It moved out of southeastern Missouri today into our area, now pushing on up to the northwest, moving out of the area, taking the rain with that. But look at the storm systems now along the Gulf Coast down into Florida. Tornado watches still out for southern Alabama, northern Florida. They've had numerous severe storms with this system, and it's basically tied into the system that's been plaguing us. And of course, there's another view of the El Nino storm. So what can we expect for tomorrow? Well, it looks like that area of low pressure is going to continue to slide to the northwest, but it's going to weaken. That's going to keep rains in northern and eastern Missouri. It's going to be close enough here to us, though, that we're going to keep scattered showers in our forecast during the day tomorrow, while the folks down to the south, well, they get to enjoy the sunshine that we're not. So overnight tonight, please be careful out driving. Drizzle and fog will reduce our visibilities. We're going down to 38 degrees by tomorrow morning, only up a few degrees tomorrow afternoon, 43. Again, some scattered light rain, drizzle, and fog throughout the day tomorrow. Tomorrow evening, if you're making plans, patchy fog, some scattered rain, we're going down to 40 degrees. Okay, the next 5 days, well, the next few days don't look much better. Just another gray February work week for Kansas City. Scattered showers will stay in the forecast through Wednesday. The rain finally tapers off for Thursday, but the gray clouds continue. Not too bad, though, for the weekend. Temperatures in the 40s all week long.
Seems like El Nino has pounded everybody but us, so
we'll just enjoy these mild
temperatures.
Stuff. That's right. Nice colored outfit.
You too. Thanks, Lori. Well, if you like the book Chicken Soup for the Soul, there's a new book out filled with more inspirational stories that will give you a lift. Laurie Roberts has more on that in our report for today's Women.
In today's busy world, few people have the time to curl up with a good book. Well, now, even if you only have a couple of minutes, you can savor a short story from the new book, Love Adds a Little Chocolate. It was written by a Catholic priest from Chicago. He says it's filled with inspirational stories to sweeten your life without being talked down to.
Nobody likes to be preached at, you know, no matter how religious we might tend to be. We kind of like to discover that little surprise or that little message for ourselves.
The book is now available in bookstores. Remember, it's called Love Adds a Little Chocolate. That's our report for today's Women. I'm Laurie Roberts.
KU Jayhawks on the road tonight. Here's Cordell Patrick with sports.
Elizabeth, KU can tie for the conference championship. Just beat Colorado on the road. And just one day of rest after beating Kansas State in Manhattan, could the Hawks beat the Buffaloes in their own backyard? I'll give you the answer up next. And has anyone seen Dennis Rodman? The Bulls haven't. Sports is next.
As he goes to the line. Here is tonight's Jeep Sports Trivia question. The answer coming up in sports. There's only one Jeep. You're watching NBC 41 News Nightcast at 10.
With 4 games left on the Big 12 schedule, the Kansas Jayhawks could clinch at least a tie of the conference championship. Their task, a tough one for the night, as most teams in the Big 12 have found out on the road. It's a tough place to win. Kansas 3 games in front of the rest of the pack with only 1 conference loss. That came in Columbia to Missouri. Tonight, beat the Colorado Buffaloes on their home floor, and they are at least co-champions. And they can wrap it up Saturday at home against Iowa State. And if you want to see a serious fadeaway jumper, there's no way you can stop that shot right there by Rafe LaFrentz. Isn't that pretty? Then the Hawks use their other big man. Check out Eric Chenoweth, the freshman, using his height in the paint, the turnaround jumper for the deuce. KU in control. Well, the Hawks didn't play very much defense on this play. There's Kenny Price going downtown, bang, the 3. Colorado down by 1. And right before the halftime break, it was Price again behind the arc. Kansas leads at the half by just 3. KU takes over then. The second, Paul Pierce with a reverse lay-in, and then when Billy Thomas gets it going, you can forget about it. Let's go to the scoreboard now. In the second half, late in the second half, just a few seconds left, KU will hold on to win, and they will be at least a co-champion of the Big 12, 77-69 over Colorado. Associated Press college basketball poll is out. No movement for the country's top 4 teams, and here is the way the top 10 looks. North Carolina remains number 1. Duke is 2. Arizona is 3. Kansas is 4. Purdue is 5. And then the rest of the bottom half of the top 10, Utah 6, UConn 7. Kentucky is number 8. Princeton 9. Stanford number 10. Well, the season isn't even over, and Texas A&M has the help wanted sign out. Today, the school notified basketball coach Tony Barone that his services were no longer needed. He will be reassigned at season's end. Barone has just 1 winning season and 7 campaigns as the Aggies head coach. The Aggies are just 6-16 overall and 0-12 in Big 12 play. The Aggies hope to have a replacement by June. Dennis the Menace is living up to one of his many nicknames. The Chicago Bulls bad boy is becoming a headache again. Rodman missed the team shoot-around yesterday and didn't start the Bulls' win over Detroit. So Dennis just decided to skip practice today. That's a no-no. Rodman has been relatively quiet this season until this past weekend. But by listening to his head coach, he's not too worried about it, but he was a little testy with reporters.
Call in, say where he was, or...
No, he didn't. We called him and found out where he was. He was at home.
Where was he? Home?
He was at home.
Did he give a reason for his absence?
Not sufficient.
What was his reason?
None of your business.
Oh my, that ridiculously long hearing for former Golden State Warrior guard Latrell Sprewell is finally over. It took 9 days, 21 witnesses testified, and 3,000 transcript pages later. Sprewell has already missed 35 games for choking P.J. Carlesimo. The league suspended him for 1 year. An arbitrator could have Sprewell back on the court in less than a month.
Well, I'm definitely confident that I was able to finally let him at least know my side of the story. So I'm confident in that, and I'm confident that he'll render a fair decision too.
Well, doctors now believe they know what caused Hall of Fame broadcaster Harry Carey to collapse in California over the weekend. A sudden change in heart rhythm was the cause. The 78-year-old voice of the Chicago Cubs remains in critical condition. A family friend confirmed that doctors say his heart output is now normal. Carey suffered a stroke back in 1987. And the trivia for tonight, what team holds the record for most consecutive wins in one basketball season? And it is the Running Rebels of UNLV and Jerry Tarkanian.
Quite a glory day they had.
How many were disqualified?
I'm not getting into that technical side of that.
Right, thank you, Cordell.
Sure.
Well, it's definitely not home cooking.
But it has restaurants running at a simmering pace. We'll tell you about it next on NBC 41 News Nightcast. Pay attention to this one. Your next trip to Taco Bell could soon be faster.
Computers are taking over the kitchen in the newest line of restaurant revolution. Driving up, you'd never know it, but this machine makes your order.
Cool. Little robots back in there making that?
Cool. It's called the U2, doing the work of 3 people. They're being tested in Denver now, but pretty soon U2 could be serving your fast food version of Mexican cuisine.
All right.
Maybe some workers might not like that.
Yeah, that's right. Well, big trade in the NBA. The Orlando Magic send Ronnie Cycli to the Utah Jazz. The Jazz send the Heat Greg Foster, Chris Morrison, a #1 pick in the upcoming draft. Also, college basketball. We do have a final now. University of Kansas, at least a tie for the conference championship in the Big 12. It's a final. They downed Colorado 81-72. Lori?
More gray skies. Sorry about that, but as you're heading out the door tomorrow morning, this is what it's going to look like. Mostly gray skies. It's still going to be very humid and damp. Some drizzle and fog could be reducing your visibility, so you might want to be careful driving out there tomorrow. 38 degrees for tomorrow morning, and the rest of the area, 38 up in St. Joe as well. The 40s in eastern Missouri, and the 30s, lower 30s for western Kansas.
All righty.
Grand. That's it for tonight. Thanks for joining us for NBC 41 News Nightcast.
Now remember to join Sally, Michelle, and Greg for 41 News Today, starting at 5 tomorrow morning. Good night.
See ya.
NBC 41 News is the local news provider for Southwestern Bell Internet. To subscribe, call 1-888-SWB-INET.